I got shit that can go on the club and shit, man. Nigga, my shit for boss. If you ain't no boss, you ain't gonna understand. Remember when I was waiting for better days? At a dating feeling like shit wasn't gonna change. I stacked the wheels and put that money in the safe. Only money combos now, ain't got no time to waste. Go teach yourself, don't worry about who never taught you. Your folks start jumping when they see you making boss moves. Just to get to all these.
Are we ready?
I just started.
Quiet. Alright, we get started. And we started. All right, man. It's the 95ers podcast dedicated to the hustle. I got my man Brent here.
Yes, sir.
Donald.
Yes, sir.
And our special guest.
King and Nicole. I gotta do it. I wasn't ready.
Let me tell you why I did that, because I forgot a name for that split
That's
second.
fucked up.
And I was like, man, please say it.
That's
You
fucked
did
up.
it for me. You did it for me. I appreciate that. Like I said, though, it's a podcast dedicated to the hustle. Hustle for a purpose. Whatever your hustle is, do it purposefully. Okay, let's get started. It's hot as fucking here. Let's start that off. It's hot, but I'm thankful we back after the quarantine still going on.
Nigga drip dropping.
Jesus Christ, man. Hold on, lady.
This man wiping his face with
Hey, bro.
With the shirt he got on. He ain't bring no spare towel in this
Oh,
bitch.
God, man. I just got that weak.
Nigga bang popping out his head.
Oh, Lord have mercy. All right. Hey, shut up.
Like a wet nap or something.
It's that hot, bro.
Right.
It's that hot. But, yeah, we back after the quarantine. I know a lot of people still are in quarantine, and my heart goes out to them because, a couple of people have passed away from COVID. But, yeah, I'm thankful we all here. Why don't you laugh? Don't laugh at
No,
that.
I'm
Don't
not.
laugh at that.
I looked at she laughing, so I started laughing. That's that effect. Like,
COVID, like the number 12. What's up?
Hey, it's hot as fuck. Hey, we can't laugh too much. We're gonna start sweating this bitch.
But our guest today is
King and Nicole.
King and Nicole. I was gonna get that out. I swear I was gonna say your name.
I don't trust you now.
Oh, Jesus Christ. She's a digital marketing strategist. She's the founder of the Mix and Southern Made Creatives. Two events that I went to here in Birmingham. They're wonderful events. If you are in the Birmingham area, I suggest that you go to them. They are very delightful, fun, things like that. Other adjectives I can't think of right now.
Great place to network, too.
Great place to network. I met who did I meet there? He had a studio.
Shit.
D-Sharp?
D-Sharp. That's who it was.
D-Sharp, Troy. That was
Troy.
first met Troy
I met Troy Davis there. He did this.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Troy Davis.
Cool.
So, yeah,
Hey, I try.
you the glue. You are the glue. So, explain yourself a bit. Tell the people who you are.
Well, my name is King and Nicole, if you guys didn't hear that. Birmingham native, born and raised here. Went to the University of Alabama, graduated with a PR degree. I'm super into just music and culture and, like, Black excellence. So I was really kind of pushed to start a platform where people could connect and really just empower one another. So that kind of birthed the Mix Birmingham, like, in my senior year of college.
Mm-hmm.
And really didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just knew that what I wanted to do, and I really just started trying to piece it together. And so in doing that, I kind of found my flow and figured out what I could offer, which was, like, the marketing help. One of the things that kind of stuck out to me was really trying to figure out why my mom was an entrepreneur, right? So my mom's done hair and nails, like, since before I was born. And so growing up, seeing that, she always had a shop, like, up and down 3rd Avenue. So all the way down Bessemer Superhighway, she had, like, different hair salons and nail shops and stuff like that. But from what I learned from just being there and around, that's something that I wanted to do, was just own businesses. But I never understood why a lot of those businesses never were sustained in terms of either doing good business for a long period of time and actually growing into something else, or just physically being there. After 5 or 10 years, it's, one or two things going to happen. Either they're going to move and relocate, or they're just not there anymore. And that was just a pattern that I kind of kept seeing. So I was trying to figure out a way that I could create a community where people supported each other so that wouldn't continue to be like a pattern, so that we could not only just connect and support one another, but also put resources in place to where we could continue to like grow and build businesses and stuff like that too.
I feel you now. You know what something that you said when you first said it, you didn't know what the fuck you was doing. And I think that was us for a long time. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I knew I just wanted to make clothes. I knew that for a fact. I knew I wanted to make clothes, but I just
DJ.
Always, yeah, that too. Shh, be quiet. And I ain't know, but I knew where I wanted to go.
Right.
I didn't know exactly how I was gonna get there, but I knew where I wanted to go. And I've been seeing that a lot lately. A lot of people talk about that. Like I look at Gary Vee. You know, just do it. You know what I'm saying? Just do it.
Yeah.
You know, just take that first step, because a lot of times that's what we stop at. We don't take that first step. So when we don't take that first step, we get stuck up here.
Yeah.
We get stuck up here. We like, oh shit, I ain't gonna do it now.
Yeah.
Cause shit, why?
I mean, exactly. But you gotta know that if y'all believe in God, like the one thing that happens when you start following whatever it is that your passion is, the shit that you don't know how to do, one or two things gonna happen. You gonna start just doing what you do, and the shit just gonna work itself out, or he gonna send you people to help you work the shit out. Like he doesn't. It's not gonna go unfinished. Trust me. So I think in doing this, it's just kind of shown me that there's no room for the fear of starting, because it can be like that for sure. And like I'm an artist too, in terms of like a lot of different things, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we had that Zoom call. I seen your paintings. You were a very, very good painter. Very good painter.
I appreciate it. But yeah, so you know, a lot of times I was very shy about sharing my art and like sharing music or sharing poetry and stuff. But a lot of it kind of came from, are people putting me in a box, and what are they gonna say about me kind of being outside of the box, and like what do I define myself as now that I'm outside of the box?
Yeah.
So being okay with not fitting in the box and just doing the shit anyway.
Yeah, I think that's how it was for me. I definitely never really just throughout my life, I don't think I never really fit in. I don't think I never fit that norm of just, I wasn't that good at sports, you know, things like that. I was into.
You trash?
I wouldn't say I was trash. I rode the bench. I made the team, but I rode the bench. I was a role player. I was a role player, man.
I rode the bench.
I made
bench.
the team, but I rode the bench. I get in like the 14 seconds in the fourth quarter.
But
To do what?
Hold the ball to the game over. Oh, that bitch in the air. Then wait. You try to get that 2 points for the game over.
I made the B team and stuff like that.
C team. That nigga made the C team.
I made the B team.
C.
You know, and anyway. Oh, yeah. Anyway.
say y'all, nigga.
No. But yeah, I mean, I think that fear definitely stops a lot of us. But I read in the book, I think it's The Way of the Superior Man, just to live on the edge.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I'm saying, face that fear every morning. You know, you scared of it. The only thing that's going to happen, you're going to keep being scared of it. You're just going to face it.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I looked at. You're going to keep being scared of it, or you're just going to face it. And
manifest, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely manifestation.
Yeah.
It's just
Big part.
that validation is in you. So
For
you don't have to search for it nowhere.
You defined your
That ain't
own
mine.
norm. No, that ain't me.
Nah, dude.
who was that?
Look, it might be me. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, but definitely.
And when you think negative thoughts all the time, negative shit gonna end up happening. So you gotta think positive. Keep that positivity going.
That's a law of attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You literally have to believe your way to your own reality.
For
That
sure.
is true.
For sure.
Oh,
It's-
yeah.
It's a book called The Secret. Shit good as hell. Teach you about the law of attraction.
I mean, but
Everything-
I mean, another thing,
Huh?
you took my bad. What you say?
I'll just ask who the author was.
I don't know. I just read it. Wait, hold on. Wait.
No, I'm saying we say that a lot, but I feel like now it's starting to get like a cliche thing to say. That's starting to get like, I mean, maybe that's just me.
What, manifest?
Yeah, I'm just seeing it a lot.
Well, some folks say that shit to follow the trend if they see other people doing it. Rhonda Byrne, that's her name, I think. Some shit like that.
Listen,
Yeah, it's a good
But
book,
I feel
though,
like
good book.
sometimes it gets a bit cliche because it's just like the easy thing to say. Sometimes.
It's not the easy thing to do, though.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can say it
That's what
all
I'm
day.
saying.
That's
You
like
can
you
say
can say
it all day,
anything.
but those
Yeah.
speak for themselves.
Exactly.
exactly.
That's
Exactly.
a lot
You
of
gotta,
work that follows behind
man,
that.
you have to
Exactly.
put in work. Have to put in work.
Some folks think it's just gonna come to you. Nah, you gotta work for it.
I think
sometimes.
then you get frustrated when it don't go how you want it to go. You know what I'm saying? When you don't get the results that you want to get
as fast as you want to get them.
fast,
Like, people expect this shit to happen like the next day. But nah,
man,
nigga, that shit gonna take
you
a
gotta
minute.
have patience. You have to have patience.
You're patient.
You have to have patience. But another thing, though, since you're a woman, a black woman, it's been a powerful week for black women as far as Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj being the first.
Hey, she look like what the fuck Megan got to do?
No, I'm just saying.
Hey, she look like what the fuck? What the fuck Megan got to do? I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see what he talking about. What's been going on this week? Nigga talking about lives going on.
I'm talking about how they made the billboards. The first four, it was her, Doja Cat. Who else was it? I'm saying women empowerment, bro. They ain't been done before. Black women.
Shout out to them.
Doja Cat black.
That's dope.
She black.
Yeah,
She's mixed. Her dad is African.
Oh, so is she black, man?
Yeah.
She black.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Paper badges.
We got lost. We like, nigga about to talk about.
But I'm just saying, you starting to see that it's a lot of women out here that are starting their own businesses and things like that. And I just didn't want that to go overlooked. Not at all, because really, to me, women rule the world. You can't get here without a woman.
Facts.
Can't get here without a woman at all.
I want to backtrack. I want to know, like, what was your process and putting the mix together? Because me and Scooter went to the first mix that you held. I forget the name of the place.
Lounge?
I think it was
PH
Lounge.
from Chevron.
It's Mirage.
I don't know, but
it's Mirage.
Yeah, that one. I know it. Yeah,
that's literally a long time I've been there, so I forgot the name of the place.
Yeah,
but I remember, like, me and Scooter could see, like, the direction of one that we could go from, just networking with people around there, but also just the space itself to have so many creatives in one space. Folks that made candles, did visual arts, and different performers, to the most recent one that I remember, at least, that you had around Classic. Where it was pretty much the same essence, but you can just see, like, how much it had expanded, like, throughout the city and how much it grew. So, like, what was just that whole process for you, and what was your what was that growth process like for you, and what were those moments, and I guess, like, self-validation to be like, okay, yeah, I'm on to something, I got something I can keep.
Just over time? Like, okay, so it was very turbulent, to be completely honest, because I was also in, like, a very rapid growth state, I guess, with just, like, my own personal development. So a lot of what I wanted to achieve was me learning how to be self-sufficient and learning what I was good at and what I wasn't so good at. So I knew that ever since I was a young kid in, like, middle school, I would plan these crazy-ass parties. And I would always have, like, sets and stuff, like, all through high school. My friends would pull up, and a lot of it would be when my parents were away. So I would always have get-togethers. So I learned pretty early on, just in hindsight, and it's so funny because the second one that we did in Forma, that loft that was downtown across from the McWayne Center in 2018, one of my So one of my high school classmates, she was trying to pursue, like, radio personality. So I let her host it. And she was telling me, she brought that up because she was also on my basketball team in high school. And she was just, I remember you used to always, like, bring people together. And so it kind of, like, dawned on me then that, okay, I think this has always been just one of my gifts. It's just I know how to connect people and bring them together. And so that's just it. That makes me feel good when people can, like, come together and really enjoy themselves. And I think that's really just started with my family, because we always used to have, like, really big holidays and get-togethers, and we were, like, meeting on Sundays to do, like, dinners and stuff. So it was just always kind of like, that's just something I wanted to do. The process, though, it was me challenging myself and learning how can I top what we did the last time and what would people really want to do. So asking for a lot of feedback, and I think in big concepts. I'm not a detail-oriented person, and so not at first. I have to challenge myself to really think about very intricate detail, but I usually think in, like, really big ideas or concepts that are usually intimidating to me and usually to other people. They think I'm crazy as fuck.
Are you putting these together yourself?
Yeah. So, and I was doing the first 2 years I did it with like no team. So it was me working 2 jobs and I was going to school in Tuscaloosa. So doing that, coming back, still planning this. Huh?
A lot of commuting.
Yeah, so it's just like a lot of commuting. I learned how to multitask and just really kind of pulling on like professors I had to say, hey, I want to do this thing, and I'm actually kind of doing this thing. How do I bring it together? And they'll just be like, oh, let me just help you to connect to this person or help you to do X, Y, and Z. So there were always kind of people in place that could help me kind of execute where it was still a lot of work, and I guess I didn't recognize back then how much I was really kind of pushing myself to like do things because I would still come away feeling like, are people having a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are people even enjoying this? Do I need to do this again? Because I don't really know. And I think that was just an attack on my spirit from the enemy. So I've learned to figure that out and discern that. But in reality, it was just me trying to, how can I really make Birmingham, like the entire city of Birmingham, give a fuck about these young niggas that's really trying to put on. And so I was very much aware of, like, I remember, like, Brent and Micah from high school and, like, seeing people around and how we would all come together to go to, like, PKS parties and stuff like that. But a lot of those same people...
PKS parties, what?
There's a lot of excellence and advancement just kind of bred into us, I think. And so what I've been just finding, though, is that in a lot of our urban communities just around Birmingham, it's not a lot of let's teach you how to be a sustainable entrepreneur. A lot of that is either like the resources that are available in Birmingham were not being advocated for in those communities. And so it was, I need to continue to do this until they start seeing that there needs to be that in those places. And so that was really the motivation for it, for real.
Going back to the point you made about, you know, you just wondering, like, are people having a good time? Should I keep doing this? You know, I learned that a lot of people are their own biggest critics.
They're overthinking.
Yeah.
You start overthinking, man.
Yeah, because you know, when you have such a big vision, you know, you do start to second guess yourself, especially when you come from a city like Birmingham, where it's like, you know, it's not like LA where it's the mainstream.
That's a regular
platform.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's really, you got to get it out the mud. You really got to create
and
that.
Especially when you're trying to make people care about something that they can't wrap their head around. So what I learned is that a lot of people won't back it until they can see it. And so talking about it can only go so far. And at some point you got to stop talking and just start walking. And like the people that are supposed to see it will.
Yeah.
The people that are going to will follow. And the people that don't matter.
Fuck.
Like how we was talking. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
We were saying that like
how we was talking about Last Dance. With Mike made the point in the Last Dance where he said when he was first starting to get like marketed for the shoes and you know, people was saying like, well, he's spending this on a rookie and he ain't even did now. Whoa, he being
but
showy.
that work showed for itself.
It spoke for itself.
It spoke for itself, and that's another thing. That's like for me. I didn't know how to do a podcast. I didn't know, but I knew what I wanted to do. Like I knew, like I wanted to be on YouTube. I didn't want it to be on SoundCloud or nothing like that because I wanted people to see it. I needed the visuals. I needed you to see what was going on. I didn't care if I got one view. I just needed to do it.
Yeah.
People are really visual listeners nowadays too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was thinking like YouTube is a big platform to put it on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because everybody uses YouTube. YouTube is in everybody's hands, from kids to old people. You know what I mean? So, but I just needed to do it and not worry too much about who sees it and things like that. I just had to do it. Just had to go for it. And you was a lot of that inspiration for myself because, but you would do like y'all would do the music videos. You know what I'm saying? Not the best production quality, not none of that, but you still put out content. You see what I'm saying? Like you still put it out. You will be in the room making music every night.
In the car.
And in the car, bro. Making music in the car, bro.
Making music videos in the car.
In the car.
Russ made a point in this interview he did with Joe Budden, speaking about how everybody was talking about Game of Thrones. So he never watched it. So when he first got into it, you know, there was 8 seasons. And so that's good for him. So now it's like, okay, everybody talking about this. Now I can dive into it and see, you know, what it's all about. Versus if they had only one episode, now I'm watching this and it's like, what the fuck? What is this? Like I can't really dive into it and, you know, really explore it for myself. And like just as a creative, speaking more so as somebody who does music, you know, that's is necessary, especially with, like when you in your grassroots phase.
Oh yeah.
You know,
try things.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
We were talking like,
fuck up till you get it right.
Yeah, fuck up till you get it right. Like
I heard Jay-Z say once, I forgot who he interviewed with, but you only have to be right once.
Exactly.
And so swing as many times as you can. Like if you want to do something, try it and figure it out. If it don't work, try it again.
I mean that's just life though. You just have to pivot until you get into your certain position that you need to be in.
That's true.
Everything's not gonna be right. You know what I'm saying?
Like that's like even like when we graduated, you don't know what you want to do. Like you don't know what's next in life. You just sitting here stuck, lost, and we be spending everything that happens so fast. We be thinking like when we graduate, this degree about to get us a job. We about to be paid. That shit
I'm saying
is not
expectations will mess you
is
up.
Not
having certain expectations will mess you up because you thinking it's supposed to go a certain way and it don't go that way. Now you thinking, oh hell.
To that point, I wish that I had listened to my professors more about taking advantage of internships while you were in college.
To figure out.
To figure out and see if you really want to do that shit. Like,
and then even too, just on the professional side of it, like, you know, everybody want experience, but everybody ain't gonna give you experience. You a lot of times, or at least just depending on what your field is, your best bet is that internship. You know what I'm saying? And just hope you get a good one and not no shitty ass.
Boring ass sitting in his office, no windows.
But I think that's college though. You know, a lot of people just go in blind.
See, I went in blind.
You feel me? Just go in blind
too.
You just hear about it.
Went in blind, came out blind.
You hear about college. You think it's like the go-to thing to do. I'm not knocking college or anything like that, but like a lot of kids graduating high school, because I know I was like this, but I'm speak for me. I just felt like college was the go-to thing to do. Like you had to go to college to be successful. You just had to.
But it ain't. It's something that our parents put in our head though.
Well, that's a stigma. I think that kind of comes from how exclusive education has been for just black people in general. So you do want to be the most educated in whatever you're the most passionate about, but that doesn't always equate to going to college.
Exactly. So. And us being black, we got to work 2 times as hard as a white person.
Yeah.
Like, we already behind. And it's not even our fault we behind. So we got to work for what we want.
Yeah. I mean, you work every day. You work every day to prove yourself. And not to prove yourself
and I ain't working to prove myself to no white man at that.
I mean, I ain't saying just that. I ain't talking about no white man. I'm just talking about to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just prove.
That was just a random thought. I thought it was gonna sound good. I thought y'all was gonna be like, yeah, nigga, yeah. I ain't get none of that. Yeah, nigga.
Talk, here we talk.
I ain't get none of that shit. I got
talk your shit, no. Talk your shit, brother.
I was looking for some shit. I got silence. I got silence in this bitch.
Everybody got jobs.
Everybody got jobs. Like, look, I got a whole 9 to 5 in this bitch.
Man, my boss might hear this. I gotta go to work in the morning. I ain't trying to hear that shit.
Fuck it. I don't care if you hear it.
Hey, but yeah, fuck all that. But you said something about team building and bringing people together. Now, how important is having a team? Now,
Very important. Okay, so...
Think about that because you do everything yourself.
You know what I'm saying? You do everything yourself. So where does the team part come in?
Okay, so I'm going to say that starting off alone helped me to learn a lot in terms of like what I actually enjoy doing. what I don't really enjoy doing, what I'm good at versus just like what I'm not so good at. And so once I kind of found that for myself, I was able to, and I found that I didn't really want to go looking for people, because usually from my past experience, when you kind of sought out people to work on shit that you care about, it doesn't always bring the best dynamic to the relationship, because they might not care about it as much as you do. It's just a job. Or they might just be doing it out of the gratuity of being a colleague of yours or your friend or your family or whatever. And so that can really mess up relationships.
Yeah.
And so what started happening was I took a step back and started to regroup and really just kind of started talking to God about it. You know, like, this is something that I want to do, and this is something that I feel like, you know, I'm supposed to be doing or whatever. So, like, I know that the bandwidth that I have is a limitation. So, you know, the Bible will tell you 2 heads are better than 1, 2 people are better than 1 or whatever. And I was just like, let me just do all that I can do, and then whatever else is like not there or missing, we'll, you know, jump over that pond when it gets there.
Yeah.
So what happened was I started being on other projects with other people who did different things. And so I think that the beauty in it is the diversity. So if you find someone, or, you know, end up in a situation where you're able to connect with someone who doesn't need you to be, they don't need your thing to be successful for them to be successful. That's important.
Yeah.
That's probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because then you kind of have to filter out people that are, like, you have to challenge the motivation for why they even want to be on your team, because
it's a certain leverage that you have to have.
Yeah.
As far as them, like, you.
Because you want it to be healthy. It's the same thing like in choosing a romantic partner. So you don't want someone that, you want to work with people who have their own individual stuff going on, because you don't want them to be codependent. You don't want them to.
I was just thinking this. I need to see somebody
hyper glorify you or your stuff or yourself. Like, that shit is just not cool. One, and then it's also not really healthy.
Saying how important it is to be independent.
Yeah.
On your own, even in a relationship or in a partnership, in anything, how important it is to be independent on your own, because once you start depending on somebody, a lot of times certain people will see that and they kind of get detached from you, like, all right, man, you need me too much.
Yeah.
And when I drop you off, you're on your own. You don't know how to get up, you don't know how to do nothing for yourself, so it's important that you have a certain type of independence for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, and the world gonna eat you up.
That's true, and that diversity makes the dynamic like a force, really. Because then you know, I'm good at A, B, and C, but you're good at X, Y, and Z, and so together we got like a full spectrum of stuff that we know how to do. So it don't even have to be like a 10-person squad or nothing like that. But just finding people who are like Swiss Army knives, like people that just know how to do different things and they have their own stuff going on, but they're also passionate about not necessarily the exact same vision as you, but they're excited about the same type of values that you have, because then it's like, okay, I can communicate this mission to you, this vision to you or whatever, and like you can see it, you can relate to it, and you understand the importance of why it needs to happen. And I think that, just if you are following your own alignment, just from like a divine standpoint, you're going to naturally start aligning with other people who are doing some of the same stuff for the same reasons. And the same reasons is the most important part in that. But, like, yeah.
Man, we were just talking about this. If anybody's wondering why I'm pointing my man's carrot back here. We was just talking about that, man. We was just talking about that. Ooh, the universe. I love it. Ooh, I love it. The universe.
We need to leave him alone for a minute.
Ooh, the universe. The universe just does something to you. So, what inspires you? Who inspires you? What inspires you? What keeps you going? What drives you?
Okay, so I'm inspired by a lot because this is very. Can you narrow the question down?
Okay, let me give me your top 5 most influential people in your life.
Okay, my great uncle Emery number one.
Mm-hmm.
He's no longer with us, but he was the first person to really kind of fan my flame in terms of creativity and pursuing stuff that I was passionate about, regardless of what it looked like to anybody else. So he was one of the first people that kind of poured into me on that note. Second, I would say my mom. She's naturally just a very creative person. You know, she's done, she did hair and nails and stuff, like, ever since I was a kid, but she's really an artist. Like, I can't really show you, like, what her nails and stuff look like, but she's always fascinated with, like, African masks and different types of paintings, and so our house was kind of like a gallery with just a lot of different things. And she was in the Army, been all over the world, and so she would collect things that, you know, from just different places that she's been. And so from a very young age, I was kind of exposed to different facets of art. She's very into music, so is my dad. She's also from LA, and my dad's from here. So she has just like a different...
That's an interesting combination.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, so she just has like a different way of doing things. And so my dad is a really big Prince fan, and so like from a very young age, he's also really into music. And so like I just kind of grew up around all these different nuances that kind of started feeding my creativity from like a very young age. But I wasn't really pursuing that. I remember not really caring about going to piano practice or practicing piano because I was into basketball. So
Yeah.
it's just like I didn't really, when I got back to self, like when I moved away from home, I was playing sports. I'm kind of getting all away from the thing, but
hey, look, talk your talk.
I'm so weak.
You actually started in sports though, right?
Yeah. And so I kind of got into like art at a later date, but anyway, other influential people, Erykah Badu, she's like my favorite artist ever. So is Andre 3000. So I'll just put him in there fourth. And then lastly, my little sister. She's like a really big motivator for me. We're 10 years apart. So naturally, I just want to set a good example for her. I'm also the oldest sibling of my brother's 3 years younger than me. So I just want to, you know.
That's the same for me. I'm the oldest sibling too. So I wouldn't say it's pressure, but sometimes for me it felt like pressure because you didn't want to do nothing wrong because you knew they was up under you.
Yeah.
But you know, but to your point, when it comes to music being so influential to people, I think that's a major thing because a lot of people you name as far as like Erykah Badu, Andre 3000, things like that. You know, you say Andre 3000? Who said Andre 3000?
Nobody.
I could have said
him.
but yeah, just being influential in music, and music shapes us so much.
Yeah.
The type of music we listen to shapes us so much. I know for me personally, that what made me want to get in the band. Like I liked the sound of different instruments. When I hear music, I just don't hear it like on a regular.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear every little thing.
Right.
Like I hear the ad lib, the you know what I'm saying,
hi-hat.
the hi-hats.
Yeah.
I just hear every little thing. So that interests me so much. That's why I liked a lot of Michael Jackson music. Because there was so much in the ad libs that he'll say. Like he, not even the he-he's, but it'll be like the.
I'm so weak.
It'll be like this is little stuff. He'll be, you know what I'm saying? Like, what made him want to do this?
Well, Prince is like that too.
Yeah,
Like,
Prince is like that. But you know, let me tell you why I like Prince.
there are so many different chords and stuff. Like in the first 10 seconds of a Prince song, it's crazy.
I want to Prince as far as music. He's a great artist. I like Prince just because of his fashion statements. When he was on that masculine and feminine polar opposite, out there wearing heels, a shirt open, taco meat hanging out, I loved it. Ain't nobody doing that no more, man. The boy we talking about the bell bottoms, the heels, the waist head. I want to dress like that. Let me tell you this.
They not gonna dress like that.
No, let me tell you this.
No.
At the end of the shift, I'm gonna go to a New Year's party. I'm having a pea coat. Have me some bell bottom jeans.
Y'all got this on record, right? Because I guarantee he ain't gonna do this shit.
Some
He talking
platform
about.
shoes. I need a shirt open and medallion. Nobody dressing like that no more. It's like people. No, I ain't gonna say people are scared
They all scared because it's a judgmental world we living in right now.
Forget that. People like Dennis Rodman and you know what I'm saying. Even Young Thug, just expressing yourself through anything that you can. I love it.
But you gotta have that mentality to where you ain't gonna care what nobody say. That's why people don't do it no more because they worry about what everybody say.
Man, look here.
Ain't
Back
nothing stop
then,
you.
back
Ain't
then,
nothing.
yeah, nothing stopping.
Look, nothing
Back then, look, back then they ain't care. They slap a nigga back then.
Oh, ain't nothing stopping. I mean, I ain't saying I'm finna go ahead and paint my nails and dye my hair or nothing like that. But I'm
But you gonna
saying,
wear bell bottoms.
He ain't gonna wear
Dude,
no
what you
bell
not
bottoms.
wear-
Hey, he ain't gonna, I put
bottoms.
that right now. He ain't gonna wear bell bottoms.
man,
I guarantee
I
he ain't gonna wear
seen
that shit.
some bell bottoms.
Huh?
This
Yeah,
shit on
this
wax.
on
I
wax.
seen
He
some
not
bell
gonna do
bottoms at Michael Kors, right?
and walk right past.
At Michael Kors, they had some bell
Nigga walk
bottoms.
right past.
It was plaid, fashionable. Ooh, that was fashionable, suede.
His
Huh?
suede. He looked
No,
at the
I
price. He looked at the price.
You talking
Not
about
today.
some,
No, they was $76 on sale.
Nigga said, nah, not today.
They was on sale, $76. They was on sale.
I'm weak.
I mean, I
That
wear
nigga said, I'll be back. Never went back. Let
me say that. Let me say that link.
That was 2 years ago.
But as far as just like expressing yourself through anything that you can says a lot about you. Not
Yeah.
being afraid to express yourself in a healthy way. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? In a healthy way. But
I was very expressive as a kid.
I was too. I was
Clothes.
bad. Oh yeah, I was too. I like when New Boys came out. Was it New Boys? I think that was their name. The skinny jeans, the plaid shirts, the beanies that's hanging off. Cold as hell outside, but it don't matter because I'm making a fashion statement. Half my head
I'm
cold,
so weak.
half my head hot. Got a beanie hanging down. All this showing.
Niggas just brought fat back.
Man, look here. Would you wear a fat bag?
Fuck no.
Think about it. No. Think about it.
What I-
Think about it. Would you wear a fat bag? Let me tell you why I would wear
What
it.
I ain't gonna cap. I don't know what a
I
fat
can
bag
pick
is.
this time back
It's
here, brush
literally
this here
Are
at
you
the
from
same
Birmingham?
time.
Like it's,
Hell no, I ain't from
Oh, I'm
Birmingham.
like, how do you not know that?
I'm from Georgia.
Half the best man had a fat back.
I'm from
Man,
Georgia.
fat bags. Man.
just imagine scooter cut, but like he got a fro in it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That shit they be doing in Texas.
Yeah.
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 That's what I know. I ain't never knew Birmingham niggas did that.
That was like way.
Thought that was a Texas thing.
Man, look here.
That shit ugly as hell. I ain't gonna count. That shit ugly. It's like the barber didn't finish. It's like that. Like that nigga Clippers got hot. He had to let him cool off.
I'm weak.
You know, fuck it. Keep it like that.
I come back tomorrow. I got you.
That's like when Bobby Brown. That's when Bobby Brown accidentally got his hair cut like that. That shit was on accident. That wasn't on purpose.
Hey, succeed no accident.
That Pee Wee fade.
Nah, that Gumby. Was that Gumby? That
The
Gumby
Gumby.
shit. That shit was an accident. Nigga Barbie accidentally yinked that bitch.
That nigga said
He just kept it like that. Look
But
what
I'm saying,
happened.
think about it. Think about people that succeed on accident.
Exactly.
You fucking up, and you think, oh man, I ain't fucked up. Then somebody sees it. Man, look at that. That's amazing. Really? You
All
like
it
this
take
thing?
was one person to start a trend.
That's all
Everybody
it
gonna
take,
follow
man.
that way.
That's true.
That's all
You
it
just
takes.
need that one good.
And you said
good
they
hit.
just need that one
Just
person
that
to
one
see you.
shit.
You need that one person to see you, and then they gonna tell somebody else, and they gonna tell somebody else. I think that's
Word of
the thing.
mouth.
You so weird. I think we look at how many people we can tell instead of just focusing on one thing. If I can get the attention of one person, I can get the attention of two. So on, so forth. I can get one, I can get two, I can get three, I can get four. That's all it takes is just that one person to say, "Damn, I like this." Hey, yo, check this out.
So
You know
what
what I'm saying?
happens when you get the attention of that one person and tell you that they don't like that shit?
I just find somebody else.
Okay,
That's
that's a good mindset to have.
I just find somebody else because I mean, you know how many people in the world?
Right.
It's hella motherfuckers out here.
Just not for you.
Just not for me.
Mhm.
You feel what
Right.
I'm saying? It's just
I just
Everything
said
ain't for
that
everybody.
to kind of touch on that too, because a lot of times people don't warrant feedback for real. Like they don't like it,
yeah.
especially when it's not what you want to hear.
But you need feedback.
A
You
lot
do.
of people,
You need-
yeah, but a lot of people don't like hearing negative shit about themselves.
But you
Yeah.
need
They
that.
hate that shit.
Or they just want somebody to
They
agree
hate-
with them.
I ain't gonna
They
have.
don't
I
like
can't have no yes man.
constructive,
I can't have.
criticism.
I can't
Yeah,
have.
yeah,
I can't
fix
have
like
no
that.
yes man around. Because if
Figure
you
out
got
the
if you
word.
got yes men around, they ain't your real
That's not
friends.
true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I tell you that shit all the time. Like you can't have nobody around. You be like, yes.
Yeah, that shit
Like
hard, bro.
shit be trash. Like most of these rappers out here, y'all shit trash. But all your niggas around you talking about, yeah, nigga, yeah. That
Oh,
shit
yeah.
trash.
There was this one person. I was doing this project and I sent it to two friends, and I was in like we were looking. I was looking at one of my friends that I sent it to, and I was just like, "What did you think about that?" They was like, "Yeah, that's dope." This and that. So I sent it to my other friend, and he's like super criticizing the whole thing. So I was like, "Damn, this nigga just on my ass." And he's talking about some this, and then they corrected themselves, like, "Oh, I mean, it was kind of like I think it was like a picture or something." They were like, "It was kind of pixelated."
But
or
what
it
do
was
you do in
super
that
small."
situation when you got two different opinions right in front of you? You got
Well-
one telling you this ugly as hell. You got one telling you.
But see, the thing was, the person I was looking at changed what they said. So for me, it was just like, oh, like I
But you
was
see, that's what it
discerning
takes.
then.
It take one person to change another person's mind. So
No, they weren't. Okay, so there was one person that was just like away. And so I sent the picture to both people. And I was just like, what do you guys think about this? And one person was like, this is really dope. The other person was like, why is it so small? It's showing up pixelated on my phone, like X, Y, and Z. And so, I'm telling the person in front of me what the other individual said after they just told me that it was super dope. Mm-hmm. And so then they were like, oh, yeah, it is kind of small or it is kind of pixelated. But you weren't going to tell me that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. One person changed the mind of another person.
Yeah.
Like, now they start looking at that shit like, maybe they was right.
But does that affect like a friendship? Do you think that affect a friendship as far as like one of your closest friends? You bring something to them and they just say, that shit suck.
That's an honest friend. If
that's an honest friend.
If that
some people are emotional. Some people, I'm telling you, artists are sensitive about their shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's just where you are on your growth.
Yeah, because some artists are sensitive about your shit. You can.
I guess like you can hear somebody's feedback and tell if like, and you can just tell like the angle that they're coming from. Yeah. Where it's like, was this like real constructive criticism? Like, are they giving me like real feedback?
Oh, they hating.
Like, what's the context?
They hating.
Are they just being an asshole? Are you really being a yes man? And then it's like after a while, when you got a certain confidence about yourself and you hold yourself to a certain standard, you even start to peep when somebody's just being a yes man with you. Yeah. It's like, okay, I know I can do better than this, and you think this shit fine? Okay,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about that. I think about how you would make music. And you would just sit there and just tweak the little stuff. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying, the way you mix it, the way you want the sound to be. And you spend so much time perfecting your music because you knew just putting it out wasn't going to do you no justice. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Just putting it out and just saying, I got it. But you was, you know what I'm saying, perfecting it in a certain way. Yeah. Because you were serious about your craft.
That's when I told you one of your shit was trash, and you went back and you went in
I
on that shit.
I went back and
so
I went in.
I'm telling you,
and
you
I
gotta,
appreciated that.
I got to be honest with you.
The way you said it, though, was a little hurtful.
Yeah,
but
I ain't say it that like that time.
I accept it, though. You said that. Hey, school.
You got to go a little harder than that.
I think managing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What'd you say?
Oh.
Nah, I was just saying, like,
I'm like, oh. Are they finished each other's sentences?
It had been a couple times where I might have been trying out something new, and I done had like, all y'all niggas in the car, and they're like, yo, what y'all think about this?
That time you tried to sing?
And then the first time I tried to sing on the track, I was like, what y'all think about this?
I know you want more from me, but baby girl, I got so much more to see. And I know you want more from me, but I just need time to see where I wanna be, yeah. I know you want more from me, I know you want way more.
It was quiet for like the first 5 seconds. It was just like they was, okay, so which one of y'all niggas gonna be
I was looking out the window like, damn,
this
nigga tried to sing.
No, but I mean, but you need. But be real with you, because I knew where you can go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't there.
It wasn't. It wasn't there, bro. It wasn't there.
I think managing personnel is a really big part of that too.
Oh yeah.
Because that kind of also goes with building teams, like knowing who to go to for what.
Yeah.
So you do need to know how people respond to you, because you take the wrong thing. You take like a decision about finances to somebody who is money hungry. They gonna steer you in the wrong direction every time. So you just gotta know who you dealing with too. So just having discernment is a big part of that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. All right. Huh? What'd you say? No, go ahead. No,
Here we go again.
Say
try to censor it?
I feel like this is a cliche question to ask any former athlete, but I just feel like I have to ask anyway. How much of you playing ball in high school, how much did that have an influence over what you're pursuing now?
Hey, let Scooter answer that question first.
I'm so weak.
It's been the last time we be on this motherfucker. It's been the last time. It's my shit. I refuse for this motherfucker to be on here disrespecting me on my platform.
Hey, but you got the highlight tape though.
Time out. On my platform.
Hey, it's like him getting up, running to the court.
He checking in.
Oh, shit.
Norwood, get in there. All right.
That nigga with the camera.
Okay, wait, one time. I got a story, man. Real talk. When I first started playing basketball, man, I inbounded the ball, right? And I didn't dribble.
You never
What
started
position
though.
you played?
The bench. He said it a minute ago.
No, look, when I was on the B team, right, everybody was 5'7", 5. Everybody was short.
So you was small forward.
Man, come on, center.
I was in
All right.
I was the center. I was the center on the post.
What grade was this?
This is 7th grade, 8th grade.
How you on the B team? Okay.
Exactly. He making shit up.
No, for real. No. I was on B team in 8th grade.
He's on middle school B team.
But okay. In my school, bro, it was say like it started 7th grade to 12th grade, so we didn't have a middle school.
What school you went to?
I went to BB Coma. It's in Silicaga.
Okay.
But we
I
didn't
know
have
that
we didn't have a middle school. Everything was just like there.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So that's how it went.
Cool.
Fuck all y'all, all right?
She like, cool. Anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah, Brent. Next question.
But to answer your question, Brent, I don't know. I don't know though, for real, in terms of like a direct correlation, because I literally do marketing, so I don't know. But
For making plays.
I was just.
look at that! Look at
Hey,
that!
making
I
plays.
care a little bit.
Yeah.
Little song.
I guess I'm just thinking about the whole competitive nature, because
Oh yeah.
I worked like at a marketing internship for a very brief time,
That
and
nigga sold phones. That nigga sold phones.
Hey, he
First
went
of all, nigga, I
from
didn't
door to
sell-
door.
I didn't
He didn't
sell
sell
phone.
anything.
I
A
sold cell
phone.
phone plans.
Oh.
That nigga sold cell phone plans. Nigga said marketing.
How many times you sold like what? Two?
Bro,
That nigga was.
But I was
Horrible.
lucky if I got that. That was terrible. That was terrible. But that was just something. I mean, I learned a lot about sales and marketing in the time I was there. But that was just one thing that I guess they had a thing for picking for former athletes, because they feel like you got that competitive drive to want to outdo all your colleagues and go
I
out
am
and get
like
the
that,
sales
though.
and shit. Now,
Is that a bad thing or a good thing though? Like you feel like that's a
Unchecked is a bad thing, I think.
yeah.
I
that
felt
was
that.
a boss ass.
That was a boss ass answer. That was
I got chills on that
that
one.
was I hold my nuts, nigga.
I just feel like it's a time and place for everything. Just knowing when to be patient and when to move forward.
Exactly.
Chess moves.
Exactly.
Chess
You
moves.
don't have to. I feel like I learned a lot in just pursuing like this stuff, and even in my own professional stuff, like how to leverage, because I'm a woman, right? So there's always a dynamic of me working with obviously a lot of guys and doing stuff to where I'm always interacting with them, and so learning how to know when to say something and when to just let stuff play out, and when to like speak up, and how I can be assertive without like yelling at people. You know what I'm saying? So that's an art to that, I think. So,
But I think that's a lot of time for women. Cause I know my mama do that. Like she just had to. Like, you ain't gotta yell to get your point across. I hear you.
yeah.
You ain't gotta yell though.
Sometimes you gotta yell though.
No, you
Sometimes
don't, because
motherfuckers
yelling ain't gonna
hearing you.
change the
I
argument.
feel
It
like
would be
with
the
you
police
being her
officer that
son,
said that
though, is probably a little different. Because she probably do got to yell at you.
I'm telling you, sir, you gotta. I'm telling you, bro. I've experienced that shit. You gotta yell at some people to get the point across.
And that's just
that.
facts. Yeah.
That's just that. That's
I don't
just
know, man.
that.
I'm just not a yeller. I'm not finna sit here and yell at you and to get my point across. I'm okay.
You ain't even gotta really
But
yell.
I'm
You gotta
nonchalant, bro.
motherfucker
That's me.
put
That's just me. I'm just nonchalant. I'm just all right.
yeah.
Are you fake ass nonchalant though? Like, do you really be really caring?
This a nonchalant ass nigga. Right
Now you can
here.
answer like
Hey.
we about on the same. I'm really just like all right.
Okay, cool.
Brent, like, see, he got a nonchalant look right now.
Like
niggas,
like when me and Brent talk, it's like it's different because it's just like you hear. This is how you hear through the conversation. Mm-hmm. True. Facts. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, facts. Then you can get probably like a minute of a long
silence.
Yeah, long silence.
I'm weak.
But for real though, yeah, facts. True. True. But but I know what you're saying.
Right.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it's just my response. All right.
Yeah.
Bet. Man, it's fun.
It's like, he tried to have a nonchalant look on his face.
I guess like
5 minutes. Okay. Facts. Nigga try to get 5 minutes. True.
about to get about here.
True.
Facts. They
I
go
guess,
that.
like,
They go that pause.
I guess niggas just try to stay away from instances where you have to yell. It just completely take yourself out of that situation.
They just bring my energy down. Like I don't.
It's, you know what I'm saying, different strokes for different folks. I'm not gonna tell nobody don't yell, but I'm not gonna yell.
That's a country ass answer.
I learned. I just figured out meditating and like doing meditation in the morning, and stuff like breathing through your diaphragm, and it's like a release, man. It's just I ain't finna cause me, I ain't finna do all that. I ain't finna do all that. That's why I smoke, man.
Well, that went left. I'll be out this interview.
No, that's why I'm saying that would keep me calm because I'm not a yeller.
Don't
man.
do drugs, kids.
I'm not a.
Nigga ain't smoking for real.
Yeah, water went out down the side of your eye.
He fucked me up with that shit.
Hey, smoking for real.
But this has been hey, we wrapping up.
Always wrap up.
Just got done saying all this about not yelling.
Hey, look, he trying to yell. Hey, he don't even yell right. He don't even yell right. He like, fine, we about to wrap it up.
That was like a stepfather. What your mama say?
Fuck you, nigga.
Ain't my dad.
My respect your dad.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, man. That's one thing I don't ever want to strive for, man. I just, no disrespect, man. I can't see myself being a stepdaddy.
Man, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, we
That's
going
all-
left.
that's all-
We
we going
supposed to be
left.
wrapping up. He about to go to a whole nother line.
Hey,
It's
look.
supposed to be the
On the next episode.
Next episode.
On the next episode.
I know, okay, I just
Stepdaddies and baby
He
mamas.
started off the podcast doing women empowerment. I just want to say that.
Whoa, just say, wait a minute.
Hey, then it go left.
that
He
no.
went
How
left.
about wrong?
Right.
How about, I said I know disrespect. I'm just saying. You know how disrespectful kids are. You know how disrespectful kids can be. Nigga ain't my father. Nigga, fuck out my face.
Nobody comment.
They go that long part. Hey, facts.
Okay, true. Okay, you get it, bro.
Hey, you just got hit with the facts.
True, bro. True.
Okay.
True. I'm not saying I wouldn't be, but I'm saying it's not something I'm striving for. You know what? I think I want to be a stepfather today.
True.
Ain't nobody.
Who is striving to do that?
You'll be surprised.
Scooter. Hey, do the stepdaddy.
When they hear that saying something about me being a stepdaddy,
Yeah. I was stepdaddy plenty of times.
I got both of y'all.
Fun experience. I was already stepdaddy. That shit hard. I ain't gonna lie.
okay.
But this a whole nother subject though. We're gonna be here for a while on that subject.
That's what niggas act like I don't be saying nothing. Like I ain't talking. Like my word don't mean law.
That's what you gotta yell at.
What?
Now he trying to throw in the law of attraction in this. Like my word don't mean law.
I appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, what's up?
What's his
Hey,
name?
hey, hold on. Hey, hold on. Let's end it right. What's her name?
You know what?
On the next episode.
I'm finna send him a cash out request for my gas.
Hey, no cap. I say about 20. Now gas down now, about a 10.
Man, I know. Man, he said it. He said he suck at names.
But what's her name? She done told you about 10 times through the whole interview. Come on, Scoop.
I'm getting the guess next time.
On the outro. Get somebody you know.
Don't put a name tag across that.
Hello, my name is.
Man, I know who she is though. It's not like I don't know who she
Hey,
is. Kenya Nicole.
Common ass name.
Kenya Nicole. That's a common name.
Kenya?
How many people you know named Kenya?
I know a few people named Kenya.
How many people you know named Kenya?
It's a country.
Her name Kiana.
Hey,
Man, this
hey.
man, man, her name Kiana. His wife named Kiana. Tell myself, I know Kenya. Her name Kiana.
I'm glad you're facing in the camera. Your wife gonna get your ass. Hey, we still gotta wrap it up. We still gotta.
She gonna kill me.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in to the 95ers podcast.
You always do that. First, when I said something about the strippers and not the girl that was selling pussy on Facebook, you said that.
Because that's
Hey, real shit. Hey,
You
shit.
can't-
Hey,
this how I
wait.
always start off.
Before this end though, before you wrap it up, I just want to say I don't know you and I don't know y'all, but I'm proud of everything that's going on.
Oh,
in
yeah,
this-
it's his first
in
time
this
here.
room. I was supposed to
Yeah.
be a part of this, but I be working and shit. But I fuck with you for this. I fuck with you. Keep chasing y'all dreams and don't give up on shit. And black excellence and stay woke, my brothers and sisters. Right, woke.
Don't you do
sentimental.
that.
That was real sentimental.
It was real
sentimental.
sentimental. Yeah. But stop doing that, man. Every time you cut me off, bro. I'm getting started. I'm getting
You get
started.
off on some other
Nah,
shit.
bro, I'm getting
right,
started.
y'all.
You
See
know
y'all
how-
later.
You know how I get started. When I get started. And then here you come. Next
Time up.
next time, bro.
It's too late to get
Next-
started. You
No.
supposed to got started an hour ago,
What
nigga.
I'm saying, though. You feel what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying?